This is Dublin City FM, broadcasting on 103.2 FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to Tuesday's edition of Good Morning Dublin with David Bell and John Byrne on 103.2 Dublin City FM. Before the break, we had Boney M, Daddy Cool, and that is a nice introduction to our next guest. So the question is, what would you do if you are a parent and you discover that there's no books in Ireland for children who are beginning to learn French? Well, I'm joined this morning by Grainne Schaeken, who has written a French storybook for children called Danny Cool, Bonjour. And Grainne is with us in the studio. Good morning, Grainne, and thanks for coming in to chat to us today. It's a great name for a children's book. How did you come up with the title?
Well, Danny Cool is actually based on, I don't know if anybody remember the Monchichi monkeys.
The Monchichi. I see there's an array of them in front of us.
So we brought them into you this morning. Danny Cool, my sister got, Santa Claus brought Danny Cool, the big Monchichi monkey for Christmas in 1978. So Danny Cool is still around, and we were kind of big into the Monchichis, played a lot of them. So when I discovered there were no children's books for French, I decided that I would write this little storybook and base it on Danny Cool. I decided to call the book Danny Cool, and all the characters in the book are actually based on the Monchichis that we used to play with as children.
And so each of the Monchichis, again, I didn't have the pleasure of owning one, but my recollection was they all had their own personality. They're a bit like the Cabbage Patch Dolls, was that type of thing where they all had their own personality, they had their own name. There was a selection of them.
That's it. I mean, this Monchichi, he's the large Monchichi. And then there's, the kind of medium-sized Monchichis and the small Monchichis. And my friends are going to crack up laughing. I can't believe I'm actually on radio talking about this because we are kind of Monchichi mad in our family. So they all, this was Danny Cool, and my children play with him. My sister's children play with him. And we gave them names. We have Danielle here, who's
the wife in the...
Who is in the book. She's actually the wife,
So these are the characters from the book basically come to life.
They come to life basically. So I decided to make Danny's the dad in the book, and the Danielle then is his wife, who's the yummy mummy wife. She's as you can see in the book, she plays tennis. She is French. She has a big rock on her finger, and then there's 3 children. The children are based on our own Monchichis. We have Sophie. And then we have Toby, and we have this little guy is Milo. I had to change when we played with him. This was actually Jericho, but I changed Jericho's name. Thought it was kind of I don't know where that name came from, but Jericho became Sophie.
Very biblical.
And it's very biblical. This guy. He doesn't look chubby now, but his name was Chubby, and we couldn't obviously call him Chubby, so he became Milo. My sister actually, when my second son was born, my sister said, "Oh, Milo would be a fantastic name," and my dad said, "Don't call the child Milo. Everyone call him Miley." So this is Milo, and then we have Toby as the youngest. So they're all the characters in the book.
These are the original ones that you have. So they must be. Would they be? Would they be a collector's item, or are they just dear to you as such?
No, I think, they, in the Don's Hospital in Paris Court Townhouse, which was, it used to be on George Street, and I think now it's in Paris Court Townhouse. They are there, they're collector's items now. I went in there, and she has a lot of old Monchichis, and they're back in vogue now. Again, I think there's a shop apparently I think it's Duffy's. I don't know. It's a Duffy's in County Meath, and they have all the Monchichis and the clothes. They literally have shoes, socks, the whole lot. And these ones here are the newer ones, which my own children got from Santa, and they're nice and fluffy and new. And they came from Santa via Japan. So they're looking. But
so you're continuing the tradition of the Monchichis in the family.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
so
great.
Each of my children got their own one. From Santa via Japan.
So on the basis of the story, I know that you spent part of your childhood in Limerick, and in the book that's reflected. I think the family moved from Limerick to Dublin. So what age were you when you came to Dublin from Limerick?
I think I was 9 when we moved from Limerick to Dublin in 1977. So that was a big move. When 1977, there was literally, I think, just about 2 stations on TV. So the big thing about moving to Dublin was that you were going to have 6 stations. There was no McDonald's in Limerick. We were going to have McDonald's and my favourite shop, Brand Thomas. So it was really exciting, and it was a huge change, because I think it really is, there's Dublin and the rest of the country. But we were delighted to move up. My grandfather set up Dan Ryan Truck Rental, and my father was the truck rental side of the business. I think they sold the car rental business in the late 70s. Dan Ryan Rent-A-Car. So we moved up to Dublin because my dad was going to take over the truck rental side of the business. So I decided to and there was a bit of a joke in our family that my dad was very brave. We went from Limerick to Foxrock, and I think my grandparents were a bit worried he was going to kind of get a bit carried away with himself. So it was, a huge change, but we were delighted. So it's a family joke. I decided to make Danny Cool from Limerick. It was around that time we moved up. Roshan got Danny Cool as Monchichi.
That's your sister, right?
My sister, she got that. And so I decided to make Danny Cool. He was going to come from Limerick to Foxrock. And so there is a bit of this. Ross O'Kelly tweeted it out. There's this book, French book for kids, about a kid who moves from Munster to Foxrock. Deborah McCann is the art teacher in Holy Child Killiney, so she illustrated the book for me, and she kind of got my whole idea about the book, that there's a bit of fun in here. Subtler, the humour is subtle, but people, they got it. We worked away on this book for a year, and when you're working away on some project, myself and Deborah are working, we make Danny, we have blonde hair, blue eyes. You work away on this and you don't know how people are going to take it, but people, they get the humour, they like it, and it's selling very well.
Great. And you mentioned there about the Limerick, and obviously your childhood experiences are reflected to some extent in the book. But what's your own background? You're a teacher.
I'm a French teacher. I did French and classical studies in UCD, and I went on to do the HDip. I did my HDip in Loreto Foxrock, my old school, and then I spent a year in France, in Nîmes, in the south of France, and spent, worked in Belgium as well, and so I've always loved the French language. It's a beautiful language, and it's something, I went to France, I think when I was probably 14 for the first time, loved it, and that was basically my passion, languages, and I really feel that we are behind in languages in this country, and that I feel that every child in the country should be learning language, not just the children who can afford to pay for the extra classes. I'm lucky. My children are very lucky. They're in Bridges Boys in Foxrock, and they're actually getting French classes that the school are paying for free. The school are paying for them, but every child has the advantage of learning. They're getting French once a week. But I just think that children are like sponges. My youngest student was 3 years of age. She spoke Russian, Italian, French and English because she was exposed to it. And people say, the Irish are not good at languages. I heard Paul Costello on the radio. We're very musical people. We have the gift of the gab. That's just a myth. We just are not given the opportunity to learn the language, So
currently, from a school curriculum perspective, is in primary school, are foreign languages taught in primary school?
Some schools do, and some private schools do, some national schools do, some don't. It isn't part of the curriculum, and I really feel that it should be part of the curriculum. Because it opens doors, we're putting ourselves at an absolute disadvantage by not giving our children the opportunity. And they're not, people say, they're too young. You go in, you sing songs, you play games, you get them to love the language, and that's how, you love a language, you love something, then you'll excel in it. And the other argument I hear a lot of, we should get rid of Irish and let them learn foreign languages. We can do Irish and languages as well. And then the other argument would be that, say, there's no money. We have very well qualified teachers in this country who are well able to we all did French growing up. Now maybe they have a choice of, German, Italian, Spanish. But you go into the primary schools and every primary school teacher knows some language. So,
and I think it comes home, I think, when anyone goes away, if you go away to, particularly in the Nordic countries, the Northern European countries, you do have 3-4-year-olds who are fluent in English. maybe speak German and their own native language. So I mean, it can work. It doesn't have
Absolutely.
to be, I think. So just in terms of the writing then, so I mentioned in the introduction that really it got to the stage where you as a French teacher wanted to have a book that you can assist in teaching your kids to speak French. And you couldn't find one.
I couldn't find
an
one.
Irish book, in other words, set in Ireland, based on Irish
Yeah,
characters. You couldn't
for
find.
English-speaking children, there wasn't one out there. You can go and you can look for these books with their very babyish, books, and the language is too difficult for it. So I kind of wanted to make one for, aimed at the English-speaking child that, the English-speaking child that
Who didn't have any basis to French as such. I mean,
exactly. That, and it's not, you can go into the Alliance Française and there's lots of, I think there is maybe one, you have to get them from abroad. But this is the first book that, it's based in Ireland. And also one of the things I want to do is promote Ireland in the book.
yeah, I noticed that you have a lot of references to, and the intention is to have more references to Irish life and all that, which is great. So it's more interesting, perhaps. The children will be more familiar with it. They
That's
can
it.
identify with it. So it's not a
Danny,
French book.
Yeah, exactly. Danny Cool, in the book, it's, I have the Gables and Foxrock Thomases. He lives in Foxrock. He came from Limerick. The next book, it's the first in a series of books, and he'll go on his holidays and he's going to go to the Aran Islands.
Oh, great. So you're going to introduce all of that, and it's, as you say, it's an element with the idea that it could be sold abroad, presumably, and encourage
it's in
people
13 countries, actually,
Fantastic.
which I'm delighted about. People have come to me, grandparents have come to me and said, my son is in Singapore and their children are learning French, but actually I'd like this book because it talks about Ireland. So kids abroad, that was, it's a draw to say, well, you actually can learn French and you can also learn about Ireland as well. And we have, we have a beautiful country, and it's stunning. My husband's actually Belgian. Their family come over and they go, you go to beaches in Belgium or wherever, and it's packed. You go to Ireland, it's just, we have an incredible,
No,
beautiful
I agree,
country.
and I think that's a great twist to it. Having read through it to see the references, I know you intend to write more. I think it's a great opportunity to show the country off. So, final question: where can we buy it? Is it one of those usual in all good bookstores, or is there anywhere specifically that you?
I'm going. It is online at FrenchBooksForKids.com. It's also in all the Opening Mind stores. It is in Nimble Fingers and Sloring, Dubray, Blackrock, in the Foxrock Village, in International Books, in Limerick, in Tony Clark's bookshop in Limerick, and it's also now in Dungarvan, in Wexford, in Reader's Choice. And also just want to give a plug for Copper Reed Studios, who helped me produce the book. I went to them with the idea of the book and they helped me produce the book. So thanks to Gary, because he helped, because it's well produced book.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely book. We have it here. Very kindly. John is very happy being reading through it as the interview's gone on, learning, brushing up in his French. I'm sure John speaks many languages. Anyway, listen, Grainne, that was fantastic. Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank
So
you.
that was Grainne Ryan Schaeken. Here, the book is called Danny Cool Bonjour. It's available, as you heard, in all of those bookshops. So we'd encourage you to go out. It's the first sort of French book based around Ireland and with an Irish family. So, Grainne, once again, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.